Hello again, people. Right, firstly, I wish I was trading. I wish I was in a different time zone, because for whatever reason, and don't you just find this, you seem in tune with a particular thing, and I'm really in tune with gold in the Asian session because of what I call this Asian range formation. And the Asian range, as you know, or you may not know, is from 11 p.m. UK time GMT till about 8 a.m. depending on who you look at. I checked Investopedia, and that's their timings. 11 p.m. UK GMT to 8 a.m. UK GMT, and that's the range. So if we look at H1, you will see these boxes are those timings. So yesterday I came in and the range was only half formed, so capitalized on that. You'll notice with the gold at the moment, obviously this changes, so with trading you have to constantly keep an eye on what's going on, but all these ranges are generally above the 90 pip mark. Watch this one be different. No, 115. Bigger, similar, 90 pips. That's a smaller one. But as a rule, the largest percentage, 75 pips. But even so, if you can't get 8 to 10 pips out of a 75 pip move range within 9 hours, then you have to perhaps think of another career. So massive ranges here. Again, 160. That one must be best part of 300. No, not quite that, but 200 and odd, 250. So as you can see, huge moves. So there's a small one, quite rare, but I bet that's about 50 pips. Very rarely under 50 pips. Yeah, 78 pips, or give or take. So Asian range, beautiful. This morning woke up a little bit earlier than I should do, about 4 o'clock, I think, 4:30, and what I always do when I'm looking at a chart for the first time, I check the RSI. It's the easiest thing to do. Check what colour it is, the RSI histo. If it's green, you've got a bullish on the day one here, D1. Then I draw a few lines, recent levels, daily open, daily high, previous day's high, and the day before that high. And this is a weekly chart, but that's what I do. So you've got a high on this is the current candle, which has just busted the high of the previous day, and then obviously that day, if it was going to go any further, would have either had to break and close below the previous day's low, the green candle, or the previous day's high. So it stands to reason that's a fairly good potential target. It could crash again. So we've got, what have we got? When I opened my charts looking for a trade on potential on gold, I was hoping perhaps the range was tiny and we still had a good move to take. So daily, as I say, we've got the daily open drawn on the close of the previous day's candle, and then we can see if there's been a gap. We've got previous day's high, and we've got the day's high before that, and I just stuck a weekly high on there. You can see that W1 high. So H4 now, that starts to get interesting. H4, the previous bar closed bullish above the previous bar's high. Brilliant. So I could have put that on as well, but really I'm concentrating on what the RSI is telling me, because I really believe you can almost trade this RSI on its own. So the previous bar was green. It's a change from bearishness, 2 red bars. So it stands to reason, if we get a good reason on the lower time frames to trade that, then we should think about taking the long. So now when I looked at my trade, this was a 12 pip trade, by the way, long trade. When I looked at the situation, we had busted the 2 recent H4 levels with gusto, if you like. You can see that on the lower time frames. Again, always using multiple time frames. We can clearly see when I entered the trade, this is the new bar here, and this is something I don't talk about, but it's all about checking the most recent RSI histo close. So this is the new open, this was the close. The close was above the 20 line. Now the guy who wrote this histo, I know nothing about it, chose those two pretty arbitrary levels, I presume. It could have been 19 or 21 or whatever, depending on, and also dependent upon the instrument you're trading, I should think. So there is an overwhelming, or there is a massive amount of new research we can do with the RSI histo to learn different patterns. We already have a new pattern, oh god, volume bomb. I love it, from Simon, the vol bomb. And basically it's a move from over extended one way or the other, oversold or overbought, and then a change to, I think he uses just a tiny bar, or possibly, I haven't looked at his criteria, if you like, change from below zero in this case to above zero. And as you can see, then price absolutely rockets. Here's one here really. You've got potential divergence on the line chart, possibly that's just a big spike there. So lower low making a higher high, a higher low, then the change from red to above zero, and boom, that's the new bar, and look where it went. Massive move that was. So yeah, the vol bomb. And back to the RSI. So we've established the RSI is green on the daily. We've established it's changed the previous bar H4 by closed green, bullish. We can clearly see a trend. This is three white soldiers or something like that, three massive bullish bars. And or it's got a proper name, but then also I don't get all anal about the size of the bars and all that malarkey and whether it's got a big wick or small wick. It's just three bullish green bars, 3 hours worth of bullishness. There is no way I want to trade against that. I'm not by nature a contra trend trader. That's a trend. I want to be joining in the trend. Other things that suggested this would be good for the long, my little long as it were, was the old daily pivot there. That's obviously a very, very important level. The new R1 here, today's R1, there's today's daily pivot. You know, there is a sort of rule of pivot traders: always trade long above the daily pivot and short below. You know, all these sort of old cliches. You know, if you study pivots for months and months and months, and then you study something else for months and months and months, like I've done, and then something else I've done for months and months and months, then you remember these cliches. So no chance of a short. Back onto the RSI point I'm trying to make with this video. That's above the 20, massive momentum move. No way, shape or form is it oversold at this point, overbought rather. So then we know we've closed green on the hourly, bullish. All the other time frames, as I said so far, the higher time frames were bullish. Then prior to me considering entering, we'd closed above the high of the previous, but we're only touching the 40 level, which is again an arbitrary level, just pointed out to me by a trader friend, Andy. And it's the point is, or the important point is, the hour precisely before I consider an entry has closed bullish, so that's good as well. There's no way I could consider shorts unless I'm literally scalping 1 or 2 pips at a go. And then the previous M15. Now this was a little bit of a concern, but what I could see was one M15 minor pullback to that H4 high, just a test of the high, broken resistance being tested as support, the perfect scenario for a potential continuation. Okay, so there are plenty of 2B reversals going on in this scenario here. Loads and loads of levels broken. Didn't have an H4 2B to the long side, but we had no resistance above us. All of these levels, the candle closes and opens and whatnot, were broken. The only level to cause a problem was that H4 there, and I traded to it. So you know, and that, you know, because I know these levels will cause a problem, and when you're going for 10 or 8 or 5 pips or whatever, just grab the pips, and then if it pulls back and you feel bold, go for it again. The analysis was saying long, but when I've got my sort of daily quota, I'm a happy bunny. So M30, M15 we've just done, and then M5, and now we start to just watch the M5 on the RSI, and as you can see, nice strong move above the 20 there. It wasn't a bust break and close, I don't think. 29.15, always treble check when you hover over these. 29.15, 29.72, it was actually a bust break and close. Bust up, pull back, break and close above the high of the bust level, and you are good to go. And as you can see, all the other analysis was done step by step. Look how those H4 levels were broken and used as support. There is absolutely no way I want to go short on this. So there you have it, guys, how I use the RSI Histo by every time frame right down to the entry time frame, and it's just a different way of viewing the RSI Histo. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.